Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be taking you through my reset and planning for winter 2022. I know it's been a while, there's a couple of reasons for that and I'll get into that in a little second, but in case you're new here, my name is Ciara. I'm a PhD student in final year of my PhD based in Dublin, Ireland, and on this channel I talk about all things relating to being productive while doing a PhD and managing multiple commitments, including running a business, which is a speech and drama school, and being active on social media and lots of different things in my life as well. So if you're interested in that type of content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. So it is November, the first week has just passed, and I'm definitely in this final stage of the year mindset. I think the second the daylight savings kind of changes, which for us was the weekend of Halloween, so the 30th going into the 31st of October, this is when everything just shifts because everything is different with even just the time of day and the darkness, and there's just that movement towards the end of the year. And I started off this process of resetting for the final months of the year by taking some time off of all of my work as much as I possibly could with 4 jobs. I still had to do little bits here and there, but I took almost 9 days off in total, and I spent some quality time with my partner Jack. I spent some quality time with my family, so I went down to Galway with my siblings and each of our partners to visit my dad and my stepmom, and we were there for 2 or 3 days together. And then we also had a nice family dinner with my mom in my mom's house, and then me and Jack at the tail end of these, we had gone for a luxury stay in this beginning of that kind of 9-10 day period, and then we went away to London for the weekend just passing now. It was really just a nice kind of quality time with those people, which I think is so important, especially for me. I don't always get the time to do this. During that time, because I had a little bit more time to think, I definitely had some ideas coming through of how I want to finish the year off. I'm not really taking on any huge new big massive challenges for this last couple of months. Essentially what I'm trying to do is focus on finishing the year strong. I think it's always important to do a bit of a reflection on the previous section of the year. So in terms of autumn, which you guys didn't see a lot of because I was away for a large period and then a number of other things happened, so I want to just quickly catch you up on all of the things that went on during that time. You would have seen me for August. I'm pretty sure I was pretty consistent in August, but September, October I was not. You would have known if you'd been following along with my videos that I was away for 3 weeks in September. The first week was again a holiday with Jack, going to Berlin and Amsterdam. Then I was in a conference, my first in-person conference in Nancy in France for ICCBR, where I was presenting a full paper presentation and a doctoral consortium. And then I was in Las Vegas and Los Angeles with one of my best friends. And I think everything for this reflection is going to be bittersweet. So there was good things and bad things with each thing that I did. Parts of the holiday I really enjoyed and I found them really kind of replenishing and enjoyable. And then there were other parts that were not so. I really thoroughly enjoyed my first conference experience. It was definitely one of the highlights of the year. It was quite exhausting in that we were pretty much going from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every single day, but it was a really good time to get together in a smaller community of people who are focused around the area of case-based reasoning, which my PhD kind of heavily relies on, and also to do the doctoral consortium and get that feedback from somebody else in the community was really, really helpful. When it came to the trip to America, I think because it came at the end and the way I was setting into the week following when I got home, so I was arriving home at like 5 a.m. on Sunday, and then the next day starting back all of the classes with the speech and drama school that I run, starting back a new job which was lecturing in another 3rd level institution in Dublin, and also getting back to other teaching hours with my university. So all of that was meant to be starting back, and so I started to feel very overwhelmed the last week that I was away, just thinking about all of the stuff that I needed to do, and all of my emails started to pile up. And because I was on a different time zone, it just was really, really difficult to just be able to enjoy that week. So I really enjoyed being in Vegas because we went to this really cool festival called Life is Beautiful, and it was just unlike any other festival I've experienced before because you're right in downtown Las Vegas. I think I couldn't really fully enjoy being in Los Angeles then after that because I was just feeling really stressed about the week ahead. I did obviously have still such a good time to see my best friend, go back to some of the places that I would have been to when I lived in Los Angeles, but it was just really difficult to not think about all of the stuff that I had coming up. And then when I came home, I got COVID. So I tested positive for COVID the day I came home. So the busy week that I was talking about, I ended up having to cancel everything, which was not a good start to, you know, a new job, a new school year of classes. And it just meant that from there on, I was behind on absolutely everything for the weeks following. I think my schedule is very tight, which means I have very little wiggle room when things like this do happen. And because I was already feeling so stressed and then feeling sick, I didn't do any work the week that I had COVID, and so even more stuff was piling up, and so even more stress was forming, which meant I was just constantly getting behind on my work, which was really a not good way to start off a new academic year, which is very unfortunate because it's my favorite time of year. And I really just feel I did not enjoy that kind of time of year, and even October in general was just a really stressful month, constantly just being behind on things. Other sort of highlights and lowlights, I suppose, with the business, obviously I felt like a not great start to the year, and that meant I was kind of behind on a couple of things. That led to me getting a complaint about something, which was a definite like personal complaint because of things just not being organised very well. And that's something that I find really difficult to deal with, and it just really kind of threw me into a spiral of just doubting, you know, my abilities or whether I should be doing the work at all. So that was really difficult, and it also kind of opened up a new area for exploration in terms of personal development, which is that I tend to procrastinate things that I'm worried about how the person is going to respond. So it's specifically to do with communication and telling people things. So I will put off telling someone something because I'm worried about how they might respond, and typically because I've put it off so much, by the time I do get around to telling that person, they are unhappy because it's so last minute. And so then it's like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's confirming my beliefs that I shouldn't have told that person the thing because they are unhappy. And that's something that I need to definitely work on, because it's something I'm noticing definitely a couple of times in the last couple of months this has happened. So that was difficult to deal with. In terms of the business, there's also this big kind of overarching legal thing that I'm dealing with, that I have been dealing with since the founder passed away nearly 2.5 years ago now. And it's getting to this kind of point where I'm getting really frustrated and just kind of sick of it in a way. And it's really difficult for me to deal with because I really don't have a sense of what things look like in the future. And as somebody who loves goal setting and planning, it's very difficult to just go through things not knowing how things are going to go. And it's something that I really don't have much control over personally, which means it's definitely a difficult thing. So it's hard at the moment to really appreciate the things to do with the business that are going well, such as the fact that we got 200 students for this term, which is amazing because this time 3 years ago we were trying to get to 50 students, and I think everything's going pretty well this term. We're working towards some big things, and we also got an office space, which is really starting to make us feel like we're a proper business. And so some things are going really well, but it's kind of hard to enjoy them because of the kind of uncertainty around the future, basically. As I mentioned, I have started a new job, which I actually don't know if I mentioned this before really. I got a lecturing position in a third level institute in Dublin, and so I'm working as a lecturer, and that means I'm completely in charge of the course and the content and materials and delivering all of the content and all of the exam work or assignment work or grading. And that started off really difficult because I had been definitely put into one class at the last minute, and then as I was delivering the materials, which were based on the previous year's materials, I found that they weren't suitable, and so this just meant that I felt very unprepared in the first couple of lectures. And so, you know, I definitely, again, I worry a lot about what people think, so I would definitely be worried about what the students would have thought. And so that meant that I was really finding things difficult in the beginning of the lecturing process. I think things have gotten better since, because I'm getting more practice, and you know, I'm preparing as much as I can, I feel, to do this. And I think it's one of those things where it's always really difficult in the beginning, but it's going to get easier. So for example, if I stay on after Christmas, one of the classes that I'm teaching now, I'll be teaching 3 times in a given week. So all of the prep will have already been done this term, but also it'll be a lot easier because each time I'll be getting better at delivering the content. But right now it is definitely difficult. And I definitely was being really hard on myself and wondering, why on earth did I sign up to do this at all? But after doing it for a little bit longer, I'm being reconnected with why, which is that I really do enjoy teaching, and I think it's very rewarding. And I also, you know, really want to continue in academics, and I think it's going to be a great stepping stone for that. But also, to be honest, it's a significant increase to my income. And as somebody who does have the long-term goal of wanting to be able to choose my career path and not have money be something that kind of drives me to do different things, this opportunity of this part-time work is going to mean that when I finish my PhD, if I still have this work, I can spend some more time weighing up my options before taking any particular job, just because I need the money. So that's been a pro and a con, definitely, but I'm definitely getting into the swing of it a bit more now, and definitely enjoying the hours that I have teaching, which is good. The last low point of the term is that I got some really bad reviewer feedback for a conference. So one of the conferences that I was hoping to get into, which was AAAI, I will not be going to, because we did get some really bad reviewer feedback. Like, it was almost comical because of how at points ludicrous it was. And unfortunately it did stop us from getting in, which is really unlucky, because we had 2 accepts and one kind of fair enough reject. So if we had had one more like reasonable review, I think it would have been okay, but it didn't work out. So oh well. We've resubmitted that elsewhere with some changes, and definitely taking into account some of what the reviewers had said, because a lot of the points were very valid, but there was just some that were yeah. I think that's pretty much it for the kind of highlights and lowlights, but I do have a couple of favorites from the last couple of months that I have had. A couple of just favorite purchases. I got a new phone, which is the iPhone 14 Pro. This has been really enjoyable so far. I definitely feel like I've been using my phone a lot better since I got this, and I've been a lot more productive with my phone since getting this phone. And I don't know if it's the new iOS update and I just didn't do that on my last phone. It could be because this one does not have a cracked screen, so I'm enjoying being on it more and looking at it more. Or just that I've kind of set it up a little bit better this time. I got this new mug, which I'm obsessed with. It's Starbucks Las Vegas mug. I just really enjoy it. I can't really explain it, and it's a great kind of autumnal mug. Even though it's winter, so now I technically need a new one, but that's fine. Yeah, so moving on then, some of my favorite things I've consumed this month in terms of content. TV show wise, I've been rewatching The Vampire Diaries because it's October, and I still am in November because it's still kind of spooky season a little bit, and that's always something that every year will bring me immense joy. It really just sets me up nicely. I don't know what it is. It's very comforting. I do thoroughly enjoy. New things that I've been enjoying watching are Taskmaster. The new season is very enjoyable. House of Dragon, definitely if you watched Game of Thrones, or even maybe if you didn't. I think a lot of people were avoiding watching House of Dragon, but I really liked it. What else? I really enjoyed this show that we watched on Sky called Trigger Point. If you like Line of Duty, I think you will really like Trigger Point. We've also been enjoying Only Murders in the Building. We put off watching it for a really long time, but have really been enjoying the show. Saw a couple of good movies back in the cinema this month. So Elvis, highly recommend. Bullet Train, highly recommend. That is it, I think. And then lastly, in terms of music and general audio consumption, Taylor Swift's new album. I don't think I need to talk about that. So that is it for the reflection part of this reset. After we kind of reflect and put a lot of that stuff aside, is to get reset. So after being away for the sort of 9-10 days and taking that time for myself, I now am coming back where I'm doing a bit of a self reset first. So these are things that I generally do on a weekly basis, but whenever I'm getting reset for any reason, I always like to start with doing some things for my self-care, and that will always be exercise, eating some kind of healthy meals, so like vegetables, things that I might not have been having away, for example, and then any kind of self-care that needs to be done, so getting a haircut, doing some moisturizing, all of that kind of stuff. I can easily put this stuff off when I'm really, really busy. So whenever I'm getting reset, I always like to restart with that kind of work, because otherwise I will just put it off. So this morning I woke up at 7 a.m. and went to the gym, came home, did my meal prep for the week, had a nice healthy breakfast, and did all my sort of self-care bits. The next thing that I like to do in this reset is a space reset. And I don't think you need to do anything crazy for this. I would usually each week do somewhere between an hour to maybe max 2 hours of cleaning on a Sunday, which it is today. I usually aren't in this time doing any crazy deep cleaning, but what I'm doing in this one is, as I'm going through my general tidying and cleaning, so around 10 to 20 minutes per room, so bedroom, kitchen, living room, bathrooms, office, I'll take about 10 to 20 minutes doing tidying and just overall kind of surface level cleaning of each space, and I'll make a list of anywhere that really needs a proper doing. So what I definitely noticed in this kind of walkthrough was that I need to do a clothes declutter. I need to clear out all of our paper that's just been accumulating over the last year. I need to clear out a number of things that need to go to the drama school office. I need to do a kitchen deep clean, a bathroom deep clean, and that was pretty much it. So those are things that I will need to consider doing in this kind of winter period. So each week maybe taking one of these items and doing it, so adding an extra maybe 1 hour of cleaning to get through some of these more meatier cleaning tasks. But I wouldn't go trying to do all of that today, because you'll inevitably just get tired and then you won't be able to do all of the other stuff that we need to do for our reset. Next, I like to do a reset of my system. So my task management system and goal setting system needs a bit of a refresh each kind of quarter. And basically what that means at this point is getting a sense of what my goals are for the last couple of months of the year, which, as I mentioned, is to just finish the year strong. So what that means for me is taking the commitments that I've already made, and the projects that I will do are going to be based around those. So some of the projects that I have for my PhD, I have just one project, which is to work on my dataset chapter for my thesis and actually get through that chapter. So working on what my final dataset is, all my general analysis, and writing up that dataset chapter, which is the first kind of big chapter of my thesis that I'm going to be writing and is definitely necessary before doing any of the other ones. In the business then, I have a number of things that I want to do. So we have our Christmas performance coming up, and that is a big thing that we're working on. So that's the number one big project. I also need to work on our finances for this entire year, so reviewing just the kind of finances and who still needs to pay what, and getting in touch with those people and getting that sorted, which is one of those things that I absolutely hate doing but need to do it. Then we have our new office space we are getting set up, and I want to get that totally set up for the new year so that we can start to get people renting the space from the January term. And then finally we're getting set up for January term in general, so any kind of new students and stuff like that needs to be set up on the website, and deciding what our main things that we're going to work on and key dates for that are going to be. In terms of this YouTube channel, my kind of goal is to try and do Vlogmas. Last year I didn't do a good job on it in terms of I didn't get through all of the dates, and I definitely felt myself completely burning out. So I am going to attempt it this year, but I'm going to try and just do little kind of tips each day in shorter videos. So not doing these like long 30-minute videos of me talking about my planning and all of that, but like shorter, you know, 8 to 10 minute videos that are going to be very focused on one particular productivity tip. And that means I can sort of pre-film some of them and get a bit more organized with that. Then in terms of my lecturing, again, I just want to finish the year strong in terms of getting through this term of lecturing, and hopefully my review, which is in December, will go well, and that will mean I can continue on for the next term. And majority of the work that I would do next term I will have already prepared, so that's quite good. Then I have my sort of personal goals. So in terms of the space, so as I mentioned, those clearing and decluttering, deep cleaning tasks. I have my personal development would be working on communication and trying to tell people the things that I'm scared to tell them. That is definitely a challenge, but it's something that I'm working on each week with my counsellor. Other personal development tasks then is driving. So I think I have everything done now to actually maybe start driving the car. We have a couple of people coming to put in this box into the car, and then I think it's good to go once we receive the insurance disc. And then I can get back to my driving lessons, which is great. And then the big thing that I have personally coming up this winter period is my sister is getting married, which is very exciting, and I'm the chief bridesmaid, so we have her hen party and then her wedding. So it's going to be an important kind of 2 months to get ready for all of that and celebrate. And that is it for all of the kind of projects, the bigger projects that I'm working on, and the kind of goals, basically just to do all of that work. I don't have anything new that I want to take on for this last period of the year. I think I'll save that for the new year. So what I do then is I take each of these projects and I do a bit of project planning. So I work out what all of the tasks that are associated with those are, and I will put them into my task management system. So that is what I do for my system reset, or my task management reset. And finally what I do is I work on my schedule reset, or schedule reset, whatever you want to call it. So working on what is my schedule going to be for this November-December period. I don't want to go into a huge amount of detail about my schedule for this, but I will just flick it up on the screen so that you can see. There is some stuff in there that probably won't make that much sense to you, but that's what my schedule looks like at the moment. And I always think it's good to do a new schedule when you've kind of shifted your focus, so that you know you're planning your schedule based on the new commitments that you have and the goals that you have. I have a video all about that, so I'll just link that below rather than going into it in too much detail. I've actually already did this while I was away, but basically what I did was I took the schedule that I already had, so any of the things that were still the case in terms of my weekly classes that I'm teaching and all of that, they all stayed the same, and I added in any kind of key dates, so in particular dates that any staff are going to be away, so that I know any classes that need to be covered and any extra key dates that are coming up, any appointments that I've made, all of that stuff just gets added in. And then I also just considered how can I be using the free time that I have to meet those goals. So in terms of all of the projects that I want to work on, but then outside of those as well, making sure that I have time to maintain the other things that I'm doing well, which is at the moment my exercise routine and seeing my family. So that is it for my planning and resetting for the winter period. I hope that this video was helpful and just a little bit of a kind of guideline that just because it's not a specific date of this period, you can still do this reset. It doesn't really matter when you do it. The only thing that matters is that you are doing it and that you are focusing on something for the remainder of the year and not just letting the weeks go by until Christmas and New Year's gets here. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to all of my wonderful members. If you've gotten to this point in the video, definitely consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you never miss a video. And I will see you all in the next video.